My sister-in-law called me inconsiderate after I took care of her cats for 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Double it and give it to the next person.
I've been watching my sister-in-law's cat for the 16 days during Christmas and New Year's. I have very limited time to do so because I have 6 pets of my own to take care of while also working full-time. Plus, her cat stresses my own cats out and they act out when he is around. By the way, this comes from user Not a Tough Bug, and you can submit your stories on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I agreed to do this because I had no choice really, and I'm a cat lady, so I did it for her cat. In the end, I had no choice, quote unquote, because my sister-in-law asked 2 days in advance. She was leaving the state for 2 weeks, and she asked me and my husband, her brother, to watch her cat because he wasn't up to date on vaccines and couldn't fly with her. So fine, I agreed, and I did so nicely, not reluctantly, and she paid us $100. We picked the cat up from her, and she lives 30 minutes away from us. She sort of acted like $100 was a lot to do this, and she could boss us around on when to come get him since she's paying us. For me, it was just in case he needed something because $100 isn't much to watch a pet that long and even pick up the cat for her. Plus, I wasn't doing it for the money and it was over the holidays. I spent a portion of that buying him Christmas gifts for his stocking. I'm a cat lady, so this is normal. Anyways, she was supposed to pick him up Saturday. She ended up taking a super late flight back home instead and told my husband she'd pick him up Sunday. We were supposed to get a lot of rain and wintry snow mix on Sunday, and last year at this time, we were snowed in from the ice storm for over a week. We offered to bring her the cat Saturday night to her house 30 minutes away when she got in. And she got upset and told us, no, she's getting in too late and will come Sunday. Her cat has been in his own room crying and scratching the door to come out. I give him attention and do let him out sometimes for a bit, but I have my own pets. I didn't want him to be stuck in a room alone for another week crying, which is the only reason we offered to take him to her. So my husband said, just come in the morning then. And she said she's going to come at 6 a.m. Sunday, trying to be spiteful because 6 a.m. is absurd, but whatever. And he laughed and told her, okay. So we're expecting her in the morning. We're in bed, and at 1 a.m., my phone is going off with alerts that someone is at the door. I open it and see on the camera she's outside our house with a guy she's been dating, telling him that he'll have to take his shoes off when he comes inside because we don't wear shoes in the house. She says it to him as if we're weird/embarrassing people for that. Meanwhile, I am in bed, my husband is asleep, and I look like crap. My friend actually passed away just 2 days ago, and I've been crying a lot, not showering, not brushing my teeth. Well, yeah, not brushing my hair. So yeah, no, because you're literally in grief. You're grieving. That's crazy. Yeah. So I'm not in any place to be answering the door right now to this random dude I've never met. If it was just her, then that would have been fine, but this random dude works at the same company as me, and given the line of work I do, our paths will cross soon. I care a lot about my career, and I work very hard to maintain professional relationships to ensure we complete all the technical work that is needed, so I didn't want to answer the door for the first time to this guy with oily, tangly hair, red eyes, no makeup, in my pajamas. I mean, honestly, you shouldn't want to answer the door because she told you she'd be there tomorrow morning.
At 6 a.m.? Not 1 a.m.
Like, it's still tonight.
And she never communicated this to you prior.
I wake my husband up and he's in shock that she is here with him at 1 a.m. He calls her and is like, what the heck? It's 1 a.m. and we're literally asleep. And she just said, bring her cat. He gets mad and says, okay, this time I will, but never ask me for anything again. And she says she won't, angrily, and hangs up the phone. They have the same fight all the time, but we just keep doing stuff for her anyways. He gets dressed and tells them to wait in the car and he'll bring the cat out, and I get the cat in its cage and pack up all his stuff. Really quick pause. Stop doing things for her. If this is what always happens, don't do things for her.
You're making it too easy for her.
Low key, like this, she probably knew that she could strong arm OP into this because she likes cats. So she showed knowing like, oh, well, if I don't find a sitter, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like, well, for the sake of the cat, I'll watch the cat for 2 weeks.
No, yeah, I was going to say, who else was she going to give the cat to because it was such short notice? She's like, oh, you can't do it for me? You guys are the worst.
A scumbag taking advantage of her own family. Now the cat is gone, and I'm laying in bed and watching the full video of them at the door, and she's essentially bad-mouthing us, saying that we're rude to not just open the door and welcome them in, and she would never do that. Almost crap-talking us, it feels like, about us being a shoeless house, saying my husband always acts like this and making fun of him to this guy, essentially acting like we're the problem because she showed up unannounced at 1 a.m. Also, she kept ringing the camera doorbell very aggressively, She rang it 4 times while waving at the camera, smirking. Also, I would never bring a stranger over to her house, especially not at 1 a.m. or unannounced. Plus, I don't want just anyone from where I work knowing where I live. Yeah, no, all of this is like, the sister is just like being
the most inconsiderate person.
That's putting it very nicely.
That's me.
My mother-in-law claims to be a super private person all the time, won't share any details about herself to people, so she knew what she was doing. She also knows her brother, my husband, has drawn a pretty clear boundary about not wanting just anyone in the home. I don't really care. I'm more friendly than that, but I would want a heads up, at least. She could have just had him wait in the car and come to the door by herself, given the circumstances. I feel like she is just extremely childish, selfish, and rude. She's literally older than both of us, too. I kept holding back from going off on her or sending her a nasty text, but I finally did send her this. Quote, I don't appreciate you talking badly about us outside of our home to your friend. We have to all work together, and it's incredibly rude to bring someone to our home and paint us poorly. I took good care of Scruffy for the last 2 weeks, gave him time I don't have, bought him gifts, made sure he wasn't scared, and got enough attention. We offered to bring him to you since the weather was going to be bad tomorrow. I was worried it was going to get icy and he would be here even longer. He's been miserable, crying and yowling, and I felt bad and didn't want him to end up having to go another week feeling that way. My friend just passed away and I've been crying nonstop, so I'm not in any place to be welcoming unannounced visitors into my home. I care a great deal about my professional image and work hard to maintain good relations at work for my job. I'm extremely upset with you for acting like we are rude people to your friend, or even believing that yourself, after all I did for Scruffy and ultimately for you these last 2 weeks. So is she right? Am I the a-hole for not letting them inside? Was my text rude? Am I the a-hole if I cut her off completely? This is not the first nor the last time she will behave this way, and I'm tired of it. And I usually don't care what people think of me, but it bothers me that someone from work is now involved in this random drama she brought to our front doorstep. And by the way, knock knock on your front doorstep.
Who's there?
It's full episodes.
Whoa!
With stories like these.
Welcome in. Come on in.
All you have to do to listen to them is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts and search OK Storytime. And we do have more story, but before we finish, like, clearly, OP, you're not the a-hole here. I would fully support cutting her off because this is not the first time that she's done this. Literally, she dropped that line about, this is the same argument that my husband always has with his sister. And he always goes, yeah, I won't do anything for you again. Don't ask me for anything ever again. And then she inevitably will ask for something.
I think this is the last straw. I feel like the bad mouthing, the rude awakening at 1 a.m. and no communication, her not being thankful enough. I think this was the last straw on both accounts, that we are not doing anything. And that sucks. That's what it's come to. I feel like you should also talk to this guy and be like, hey, why were you there at 1 a.m., by the way? Like, why were you with her at 1 a.m.? Kind of weird. Like, I'm sorry that's not how I present myself, but it was 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, I would also say probably, I know you mentioned your professional image a lot, but like, I wouldn't worry about it. It's one guy.
I feel
it's
like,
one
yeah.
situation where it's like the drama is, I don't think he's going to be like, oh, wow, my boss or my coworker, whoever you are, is so dramatic. It's
what I'm worried about is the sister is going to paint this family and OP as, this is who they are. They're scummy. They're so weird. I feel like in the moment, the dude's like, whatever.
So her response was as follows. Thank you for taking care of Scruffy while I was away. I did not agree with y'all asking me to pick up Scruffy last night, knowing that my flight was arriving at midnight. I felt like Scruffy wasn't wanted there for just a few more hours for me to pick him up in the morning. Y'all didn't think or care about my safety and how tired I must be from traveling and working on the house before leaving. Again, I wasn't surprised with your selfish and inconsiderate requests, as always. Dude, you're so cut off. I even paid y'all to take care of him and provided all his necessary items for his stay. Yeah, you pay people who take care of your pets. What are we talking about? My friend was caring enough to pick me up from the airport so late, who lives further than y'all, and even take me to pick up Scruffy. Also, Scruffy has nothing to do with a friend dying or whatever situation's going on at your house. Bye. Wow.
Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.
You're cut off. Goodbye.
Good luck trying to have someone take care of Scruffy next time.
And it's like, why? I just don't get the whole like, okay, I'll pick him up early tomorrow. I'll pick him up at 6 a.m. And then you just ignore that and come at 1 and then act like you're not the problem. It's astounding to me.
I hate people like this. They're so self-centered, narcissistic. It's disgusting.
Yeah. So it escalated and I called her a mean and horrible person. That for her to carelessly bring up my friend passing that way shows how selfish and mean she is. Yes. And that is the end of that story. And I hope that the next sentence that was going to come out of OP was, And that was the last time I ever spoke or saw that person ever again.
I really hope you cut off. No contact with her. I hope your husband agrees because that is really stupid.
Dude, do not ask me or mine for nothing.
Yeah,
it's
you're
over.
Done.
We're done.
Bye. Good luck with Scruffy.
You and I, we're done professionally.
But you and us, we're not done.
We're not done at all.
We got another story coming up right now.
That's right.